you some techniques, tips, and clues regarding the basic foundation and concepts, principles, and theories of this general chemistry that always the basic foundation in higher sciences. And then normally, most of the times, this will come out in the board examination, especially for general engineering, because we have common chemistry. Okay, we studied general chemistry, all engineering students. And then though their chemistry are not very deep or not very detailed, it's not the same with chemical engineering students and BS chemistry students, but normally we understand the total basic foundation, okay, like that. Okay, we start with the core foundation. Okay, ganon. Okay, so now going back to the elements, when I was in grade school level or elementary, I attempt to memorize the periodic table already, but I cannot do it. So funny, right? Okay, then, and it's lost in my mind because we are very, very young. At that time, we are still a kid, right? It's not serious because we are playing something like that with our classmates. When I go to high school, again, I attempted to memorize the periodic table, but still I cannot. Yes, really. But I really have the passion and courage to do that little by little, but I did not finish. Especially for the most difficult part in the lanthanide series and actinide series. And then I started to forgot. Okay, the bottom part, only the upper part, I remember. So it's lost in my brain cells. Again, when I go to the first year college, again, still have chemistry, right? So 4 semesters, no, 2 semesters ba siya? 4 semesters. General chemistry lecture 1, and then have laboratory, then general chemistry lecture 2, have also laboratory. I think 4 semesters, right? I don't think so. Okay, I forgot. It was 20 years plus ago. 20 years plus ago. Okay, so like that. So again, I attempted to memorize. So I said to myself, guys, God, I cannot memorize this too much. So what I did, I really found some techniques how to understand the behavior, the characteristic, the properties, when it will be undergoing certain chemical reactions, or will it chemically combine to others, or will react to others. So I started to study in the library, okay, like that during my free time. Because usually I don't take the snacks when I was in college because akong bound kay igo-igo ra man guys, okay? Something like that because we are not, as I told you over and over again, so we are not living in a above average family status. Okay, we are living in a little bit below average. Okay, living status. That's why I'm taking the presidential scholarship. Okay, of our President Fidel V. Ramos at the time. Okay, so I maintain grades. Okay, that's why I don't have time to, to chika-chika galore, chismis dito, chismis dito, or going to the, watching movies in the cinemas or whatever, or going to the friends, tagay-tagay portion. I don't have that time. Even before in my college days, okay? So I focus myself to study, and then I will just be enjoying my life while I'm in my family, during Sundays, eating food with them, conversations, quality, spending time and bonding moments with my family. And then, of course, I like to sing, okay? I have a little talent to sing and I have to sing, right? Every weekend in my room, in the sala. That's it. There's no other, affiliations or engagements to other people. Because, I am not really that extrovert. I am introvert. Meaning I prefer to be alone with my family rather than going to the friends. Okay? Because, I'm not comfortable and convenient because I don't want everybody to interfere with my own decisions in things that I like. And there's also conflict of interest. Okay? For example, if this guy like a sport, say for example, basketball, and you don't like, So there's a conflict of interest already. And then if this guy don't love to sing, and okay, and you love to sing, sometimes your expectations doesn't meet. So that's the main reasons I don't associate with some people due to the differences of inclinations, abilities, talents, and perceptions in life. So that's why I am an introvert and not an outgoing person. But of course, normally in occasions, I will be with my family and also celebrate the occasions, the feasts or whatever. Because sometimes also I will, engage to be one of the hosts or MC in the program or event in a variety show, in a singing contest, name it, because I'm very active for that. Okay, so I can also share my talent for that particular situation, especially big event occasions like that. And sometimes also I can also act as a guest to sing, something like that. Once in a while, somebody will invite me to sing or perform in the stage. Okay, for example, things like that. Okay, so though I am an introvert, but I still also balance in the different levels of the society or the community itself. Okay, at a point, because we need to be balanced all the time. But what I'm telling you is my inherent trait and attitude as a human being. I am introvert, I'm not extrovert, I'm not outgoing person. Meaning, I am really, really at my best when I am alone. Okay? Something like that. Okay, now going back, I'm talking to my personality, right? Okay, going back to my discussion of periodic table. Periodic table also is like a human being. They have also their inherent characteristic and ability and attitude, right? So let's just do that way in my explanation, in analogy of discussing to you guys. Okay, elements. Okay, ganon. Okay. Now we need to be familiar that there are period and family and the group. Okay, so where the column like this column. The columns are the groups in the periodic table. Okay? And then we will say group 1A is the lithium, sodium, rubidium, cesium, strontium, like that. Okay? So group 1A. Okay, group 1A. Okay, group 2A, for example, calcium, magnesium, like that. Okay? No potassium, calcium, magnesium, manganese, something like that in the 2A. So I'm not discussing so perfect. So as what I remembered only. Okay, and then 3A, 4A, like that. And then we go to something like here. Okay, 4A, sorry. 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8A. Like that. Okay? Like that. So, after this, there's a space here. Ganun chuchu. Like that. O, diba? So, napalo siya 3A. O, 3A here. Okay, so 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, like that. Okay? Taas kami siya guys, 18 columns. Okay? 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column. Each column has its own elements. Okay? Like this. Okay? 1A, what we call as the alkaline metals. Okay? Alkaline. Ganon. Metals. Okay. So if you try to mix that with hydroxides, so it will become an alkaline solution, something like that. Okay. And then 2A, we have alkaline earth metals. Okay? Alkaline earth metals. So I will ask you, which is more reactive? The alkaline metals or the alkaline earth metals? Okay? Which is more reactive? Alkaline metals or alkaline earth metals? Meaning reactive, the most elements that could chemically combine with other elements have the ability to do that. So alkaline metals or alkaline earth. So the most reactive is the alkaline metals. Okay, now in this discussion already, we can point out the reactivity. Okay, first thing is reactivity. So we are referring to the chemical properties of the elements. Reactivity. So we need to say, as we go from left to right, okay, left to right, okay, the elements will become more reactive. Okay, you get the point? So again, let's review to make it clear. While we still have time to review, okay, like this. We need to think over and over again because this is on the spot also. Okay, so if going to the right, okay, then I say that alkaline metals in the left are more reactive. So it's wrong in my first option. So if I say alkaline metals is more reactive, so from left to right, it will now become less reactive. I'm correct immediately because I'm listening what I'm saying. Okay? Get the point? So in reactivity issues, chemical property of the elements, as you go from left to right, it will become less reactive in going to the right. Okay? Like that. So guys, remember this because the board exam is always like this. They will show different properties, and then, for example, you will say, what will happen if the elements will from left to right in terms of their electronegativity? A, decrease, B, increase, C remains the same, D, none of the above, E, all of the above. Theories, questions. And then you don't have an idea because you did not have a clear picture. What is a periodic table all about? Okay, so, nga. Okay, so that's why we need to understand the chemical properties and the physical properties of different elements in the periodic table. Okay, so if you go from left to right, it will become less reactive because I say alkaline metals, okay, are more reactive in the right. Okay, like that. Less reactive, meaning it will never react because it's already stable. Okay? You get the point? So, when you mean of reactivity, it's tantamount to stability. Okay? Reactivity and stability is just the same. That's why we will say instability. Because if it is instability or unstable or unstable, meaning to say it will be prone to react. Okay? You get the point? That's why some of the NFPA 704, which is the standard system of the identification of hazardous chemicals and hazardous materials for emergency response procedure, okay, it states there instability hazards. That would mean also as reactivity hazards, the color is yellow in the diamond. The drawing reflected in the tank, or shall we say in the packaging of the chemical container. Okay, it's been regulated in the hazardous communication standards, something like that. Okay, in OSHA standard 29 CFR 1910.1200. Okay, hazardous communication program. Hazardous communication system, something like that. Okay? So, muna siya, instability ang ubang reference books or reference sources in the Google search, in the www web, but it would mean also reactivity is just the same, the yellow, right? The blue is toxicity, the red is the flammability, and the white is specific hazards. Would it react to water, corrosive, acidic, basic, oxidizer, something like that? Or will it explode if it will react to water? Okay, meaning there's a W and there's horizontal line in between. That would mean this is not allowed to be combined or to react with water. Okay, that's very important, or else it will explode. Okay, so you need to be clever regarding the pactogram, symbol of the hazards warning of the chemicals. Okay, something like that. So this is reactivity. Okay, number two. Okay, number two, guys. Okay, now, trouble. Okay, so I said it will become less reactive because in the 18A, 18 column, guys, more you know kung gituman guys doon sa when I was in high school. The last column really is my basis of reactivity because the last column, guys, is inert gases. Inert gases or noble gases. Noble gases are stable by themselves. Mostly it will not react to other elements. So if it is stable, meaning less reactive. That's why I said it will become less reactive from left to right. Because my identification that the less reactive is in the 18 man. You get the point? Okay, so that's why I can really answer if the question is going to be like that always regarding reactivity and instability of the elements. Usually, multiple choice siya talaga if that kind of questions will come out in the board examination. Okay, number two. Okay, columns, guys. Okay, columns. So elements in the same column will share similar chemical properties. Will share chemical properties, but will only differ to the magnitude. Magnitude meaning the value. Okay, like that. But the same sharing behavior, same behavior. For example, if I have here, for example, the halogen family. Where's that halogen family? Oy, asa na ka? Oy, halogen family, I think it's 7A group, right? Starts with, wait for a minute. Start with, oh my gosh. Start, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, like that, and iodine. And oxygen. Oxygen is on the top. Okay? Like that. Oxygen. Basta pa man, guys. Oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. Okay? Did I miss something? Okay? Mo lang sa isyo. Okay. Okay, something like that. Now, we have the share. We have the same chemical property of being a halide family. Halide or halogen family. So meaning to say they have a negative valence electrons, usually of -7 because they are in the 7 column. So the column, guys, will also determine the valence electrons of the particular element, but not all the time. Okay, because there's also, for example, we have wait, we have the copper. Sometimes copper also is 1 and sometimes 2. For example, we have also the iron or the Fe. Sometimes also 2, sometimes also 3. So meaning coprous, copric, ganon. Ferrous, ferric. Okay? Ferric chloride, ferrous chloride, coprous chloride, ganon. So ang chloride, react with siya kay an ion. Negatively charged ions. Okay? Like that. So, this O, F, Cl, Br, and iodine. Okay? So, will exist as diatomic molecule in a chemical reaction. So, you will say O2, F2, Cl2, Br2, I2. Okay? Cl2 is a greenish gas, green color, the chlorine gas. And then the Br2 is sometimes can act as a solid, not as a gas. But of course, during the reaction, it will become a gas. But naturally, it looks like an orange substance. Meaning to say, the form will change. So, reactive talaga siya, no? So, bromine. Okay? So, an iodine also is just like a liquid. Something like that. And then, it can also transform to gas and at the same time a solid. That's why we have iodized salt. Okay? Because iodine can also exist as a solid at a certain temperature. Okay? So that would mean it's reactive because it can exist in other phase. Could either be solid, liquid, or gas. It depends on the situation, whether a natural situation or by chemical reaction. Okay? Something like that. Okay? So continue guys. Okay? When you put this in a chemical reaction, there's always two subscript. Okay? Because during the balancing of chemical equation, you will be wrong immediately. Okay? You get the point. But during the balancing moment, you don't have to carry the two subscript, only the O, the F, like that. When you draw, or when you put on the board like this. But oxygen balance, O only, fluorine balance, F only, you don't have to put two. What I mean, if you put that in a chemical reaction, you always put two as a subscript so that you can balance the equation very well. Okay, because those are diatomic molecule will exist always as a diatomic molecule, not a monoatomic molecule. So when we see like that, it depends on the subscript. If I say 3 also in the subscript is triatomic molecule. If the subscript also is 4, tetraatomic molecule. And the prefixes I teach you, I taught you last 2 days ago will follow until exa. Right? So that's the rule there. Okay, because we cannot deny that chemistry having that always. For example, tetragonal, pyramidal, like this. Okay, especially the mga gon, polygon, hexagon, heptagon, nonagon, decagon, like this. So we have also femtogon, octagon. Nakakaloka. Atogon. Atogon. Nakakaloka naman yung atogon. O diba? Nakakaloka na. Atogon is a polygon having 18 sides. Okay? Atogon. And then we have also femtogon. Nakakaloka naman yung mga ganun. Diba? So, wala siya. Okay, i-follow natin yung ang patterns of prefixes and then bingo. You can, because it could have been a sentence also guys, calculate the angle of inclination in the sides number 5 of a picogon. How many sides of a picogon? Nakakaloka, di ba? So 12. So, i-calculate mo ang angle of inclination, then you will be able to use the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, the law of right triangle. Or it depends on the situation, what kinds of angles will be produced. Could it be acute angle, obtuse angle, isosceles triangle, something like it depends. Because be careful, Pythagoras theorem will be applied only in right triangles, not in the other angles. To the point. Okay, kata mga cosine theta, ganon, tangent theta, blah blah blah. Okay, slope, ganon. Okay, apply that na siya sa chemistry, especially the orientation of this organic compound, right? That pyramidal, tetragonal, trigonal, ganon. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so 7A siya. Okay? Again, the valence electrons will determine on the number of column, but the charges would not matter there. Okay? It's not the charges, but the valence electrons and the electrons, because charges and electrons are not the same. Get the point? So we will not interpret. It just happens sometimes that the charge will be equal to the electrons, but it doesn't mean it's the same. Okay? Like that. Okay. Now, we go to the I cannot discuss everything, guys, about the properties also because the time is limited also, right? Actually, it will take you how many weeks to discuss also by the periodic table only. Really, because a lot electronic configuration like this, the energy level, the magnetic spin, the quantum number, like that, the principal quantum number. Okay, a lot guys, and we'll be able to discuss the radii, the relationship of radii to the atomic radius, the ganon, chuba-chuchu, a lot. Okay, so we cannot discuss the complexity of this periodic table. Okay, now I will erase this one. Now there are at here at the last we have the lanthanide series and the actinide series. Here, mostly the mga ano siya, the mga artificially prepared elements and the radioactive elements used in radioactivity that produces radiation in the process, something like that. So these are iridium, plutonium, cesium, radium, uranium, like that. Okay? Artificially prepared, ito mga laurentium, mga ganan. Those are artificially prepared elements discovered by the recent scientists. Recent, not the batch of Newton, Anton Lavoisier, John Dalton, like that, whatever. Okay, Isaac Newton, and then what's the other one? Discover the theory of relativity, Albert Einstein. Okay, so matigwang na kayo sila. Those are scientists in the past. But this artificially prepared are those scientists in the later part na siya. 19th century, padung na sa 20th century. Okay? You get the point? So, latest discovery sa mga 20th century or 19th to 20th. Ganon. Okay? But I think there's no latest discovery until now, 2022, regarding the periodic table. So, we need to say, the people are very, very lazy now to have scientific discovery and scientific research because all of the theories and principles are well spoon-fed from the past already. It's already reflected in the books, like that, and we don't have any more to discover something. We are very, very dependent already in the raw data produced by our previous scientists and our scientists in the past. Though we have also new discovery, but only modification, enhancement, meaning we combine already all the theories, principles, concepts, mathematics produced and created by those previous scientists. Okay? There's no such originality now in our scientific research. Maybe the originality only here is that if we can produce a sugar that will run the cars. So that would be a big contribution in scientific research. Because how can the sucrose can move the car? Right? So that is the very good one scientific discovery. Instead of using gasoline, we will feed only sugar to move the car. Okay? So through that scientific research, you will utilize and maximize all your resources, financial, money, support from the government, something like that, or whatever, chuba. Okay, actually we have already, but there's no support, I think so, because water can run also cars before from the source of water only, but the production is not enough. Okay, and it was capped. Nobody supported like this, blah blah blah, so and so. Okay, because too much cost for this, like this, and there's a barrier and restriction or limitation. Okay, but the discovery is already there. Okay, something like that. So, until now, I think so, there's no new element discovered. Okay, but I think there's new, but not really proven and tested to exist. Okay, and not reflected in the textbook. Okay, or else it will be put in the chemistry books, physics book, like that our children are using. Okay, our young generation are using, but until now, it's not. The number of elements are not yet increasing. It's still 100 plus. 118 or 109? 109 elements or 118. I forgot. I-research lang this. When isus akong brain cells, either 109 or 118. Okay? Nakakaloka, diba? So, hindi ko sure. Charot! Okay? Now we have the... Isa na orasa guys. Uy, matulog na po. Charot! Transition metals. Transition metals is somewhere here, in the center. Transition. Why they are called transition? Because most of their charges are so many. Positive 2, positive 6, positive 3, or 2. So that's why they are called transition elements. So those elements that have only one charge, let's say positive 2 only, positive 3, they are not transition metals. So that is your identification. Okay? For example, in the future, which of the following is a transition element? A, sodium, B, germanium, C, silicon, D, all of the above, E, none of the above. What kay idea? Okay, so go to the concept that transition elements are those elements composed of two or more charges. Okay, so this is very clear. So those are transition. Okay, like that. So at least makabaw na tayo, ano rin siya mga transition. Okay, and then the representative element, guys, is from 1 to A, and then also for the 3A to 7A. Representative, mga gano'n siya. Way labot, center. Okay, so ano na siya? Periodic table composed of alkaline metals, alkaline earth metals, transition metals, okay, representative elements, inert gases and noble gases, and then lanthanide and actinide. So there are 7 categories for periodic table. Okay, the columns are the group, the row is the period or family, something like that. Research by yourself also, maybe I forgot. Okay, like that. Okay, so you need to understand also. Okay, now apart from the reactivity, we need to go to the electron affinity. Wow. Kung sino rasa, uy, 10 minutes mag-electron affinity sa ta. For electronegativity, negativity, electron affinity, okay, affinity, okay, the atomic radii, the atomic weight, okay, atomic weight, or shall we say the AMU, the atomic mass unit. Okay, AMU. Okay, what else? Okay, and then the malleability, the brittleness, the ductility is through visualization, something like that, and touch. So it's not good to put here also for the properties. So the reactivity, like this. Okay, reactivity, conductivity. Okay, conductivity. So guys, when we say conductivity, guys, automatic na siya, that is conductance. So what should the following metals have a higher conductance? Like that. Okay. Conductivity number 7, resistance. Okay. Like that. Okay. 7 lang. Focus natin sa 7. Okay. From 1 to 7, these are properties, and you need to understand from the top to the bottom, what will happen? From the left to the right in a row, what will happen? What I remember this, I will be confused if it will be mixed in the choices. For example, all are under 5A, and then there will be 2A also will be mixed there. And sometimes you will be confused really, and then they are asking for the electron affinity. Which of the following have a higher electron affinity? Ganon. Katando ka. So A, calcium. B, sodium. C, silicon. D, fluorine. E, chlorine. Since we know that as we go from left to right, I explained, and top to bottom, but it's not, because it's mixed. How can we understand that one? Okay, so sometimes it's confusing really, but you need to know also which of the following are common between the other for the choices. Okay, and then this is a little bit different. Why do you include this one? It's very far from this, like that. So you have only now the idea, it's gonna be this because there's no connection. Ganon. Okay, and if you try to choose this one, and then they are belong in the same column, and this is far away, like that. And for example, also if there are four and the two also is the same, and the other two also the same characters, and also you will be in trouble. Okay, and then, until such time, masakit mong brain cells. And, basta, okay? Muna siya. So, from 1 to 7. Okay? So, electronegativity, electroaffinity, atomic radius, atomic radii, conductivity, and resistance. And then we have to understand also that electronic configuration. Okay? Electronic configuration. Okay, katulad ko mga 2s2p 2s2p6 d10 like that. So the 2 or the maximum number of electrons can occupy in the s, and then the 6 electrons, the maximum electrons can occupy in the p orbitals na ang SPDF. Okay, ang d, maximum of 10 electrons can occupy, something like that. Katong kang off-bow principle o kang Pauli explosion principles. Okay, and times yun, balik sa akong memory. Charot! Okay? Like that. So you have to understand that one because sure, 100% it will come out in different examinations, especially science, specifically chemistry. Okay? So any questions so far, mga palangga? Nothing? Thank you so much. If you like the video, you can comment, like, and share, and you can subscribe to my channel if you like also. And then you can comment down below, and then you can subscribe to my channel again, over and over. And then click the notification bell for some news updates. And see you na boss. God bless everybody. Nagdalik dyan ko guys. Okay. Oy nako.